So please join me in welcoming Charles Hoskinson.
You're going to make me cry. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the end of the beginning. Feels good, doesn't it? There are a lot of flags up here. And my first thought when I saw all of them, I said, we need more. Thank you for representing your nations. It meant the world to all of them. And thank you for making this actually happen. It was a dream I had for a long time. You know, everything in the world that we have, this building we stand in, the governments that we live under, the languages we speak had a founder. It came from somewhere, from some idea. Big or small, they grew in their way. And we're born into these things. So you're Italian or you're American, and you hear the stories and they seem so untouchable and unassailable. But we forget that there were people behind them, just like us, who woke up and decided to do it. Building was built in 1949. Somebody built it. People had to wake up and put it together. The people building it couldn't have possibly conceived that we would be here today doing this. Just like many of us in our lives couldn't have possibly conceived that we'd be here, but we are. And we're serving as an example that maybe, just maybe, we can still keep doing this. It's been a long 10 years. It's been a hard 10 years. All of us have gone through so much. It's not just Cardano. We've gone through wars. We've gone through COVID. We've gone through economic collapse. Many of you have experienced death in your families. Many of you have experienced tragedies, some divorce, betrayal, all kinds of things. We've also experienced a lot of amazing things. Some people who have had children. Some people have gotten married. Some people have come into fortune. And that's how life works. That's what makes life so special, is that you have good and bad. And one of the most valuable things I've learned as I've gone on this journey is it's sometimes nice to just take a moment and reflect and enjoy it. The eras of Cardano are coming to an end. There's no more Byron or Shelley or Gauguin or Basho or Voltaire. And I've spent the last 10 years of my life, every waking moment, asking, how do I get to the next era? How do I get to the next thing? It's an amazing moment to wake up and say, there's still more next era. You get to decide that. That's the magic of governance. That's the magic of why we're here, is for all of us to work together and decide on the future together. And it's going to be so much greater than what we did before. You know, the last 10 years haven't been easy for me. It's because every time I make a mistake, I feel it, because It hurts all of you when the roadmap's not perfect, when the technology's not right, when we miss a deal or an opportunity. It doesn't affect me. I just keep moving forward. But then I think, gosh, I let all of you down. If only we were smarter or better or more capable. If we'd hired the right person, or if we'd done things a little differently, we'd be in a different place. I remember 2021. We had so much momentum that year. And I remember as we built up the smart contracts, and we just didn't quite get where we needed to be, and we lost momentum. Solana wouldn't even exist. We had it. It was in our hands. We were number 3 on CoinMarketCap. Mass adoption was coming. And while we have done so much, I remember that moment and said, couldn't we have had what we have today back then in 2021? What could I have done differently? Where could I have gone? Who could have I hired? I can't tell you how many of those nights I've had. But the antidote for these things isn't pity or deeper self-reflection. It's a realization that in something as complicated as this, the only way you don't make those mistakes is you make it everybody's problem. That's why Voltaire is so incredibly important. It's why what you did here is so incredibly important. It makes us so much smarter and so much more capable. Those aren't just flags. Those are representations of millions, tens of millions, and hundreds of millions of people. Every person behind those flags can potentially be a person in our ecosystem. And all that makes them special can be ours, can be part of this, and make us better. Make us not make the mistakes that I made. Allow us to get to the next place. And that's what gives me so much hope and makes me so excited. And that's what gets me to the next milestone. We have to finish this. We're not done yet. This is a great moment. It's a great milestone. It's a great beginning to something new. But in just a few short weeks and months, Chang Plus One will be active, and there's a group of people who are not in this room, not experiencing this jubilation and reflection. It's called the D-Reps. And we have to start over from the beginning and take each and every one of them on the same journey that you have spent the last 2 years of your lives going on. They will have questions, comments, concerns, wedge issues, all kinds of things. And it'll be incredibly frustrating. But yet somehow, some way, we have to add their flags to these and get them on board with what we have created here. It will take time. It will be unfair at times. But they deserve the same journey that you've gone on. And it's our duty to do that. We have a budget to get done so that this decentralized nation can actually, for the first time ever, start paying people. Then we can get a lot more done. It gets us to the next level, the next rung of the ladder. We then also have to come together, and we have to have new stories. We have to have new symbols, new eras, new pictures to aspire to. My roadmap's over. Your roadmap has begun. The Cardano community's roadmap has begun. And it will be a reflection of the cultures that are here and not represented here. Different names, different stories, but the same concept. We want to make progress. We want to build things. And ultimately, we just want to make the world a better place. It's who we are. It's who you are. It's what you've committed to. All of you, the people in Nairobi, the people here, the people who worked on this, you did one of the most important things you could have ever done for yourself. You gave yourself a life mission. You gave yourself agency. You gave yourself some modicum of control in a world that strips people of meaning and agency and control. There's so much cynicism in this world. There's so many people floating around telling you again and again what you do means nothing. Everything is nihilistic and meaningless, except what you can't change. And what we did here for a brief moment is we showed all of ourselves, and soon we're going to show the world that we don't have to accept that. We're not part of that anymore. If we don't like our money, we're going to make new money. If we don't like our political systems, we're going to make new political systems. If we don't like the way the world works, we're not going to complain about it. We're just going to change it. And guess what? This is how it's done. Not through force or coercion or lies or through bravado. It's by just bringing people together and having people talk to each other, respect each other, listen to each other. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win, sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you have wins that are awesome, sometimes not. But you bring them together. You put the flags up. Every one of these is equal. Every person had the same voice and the same vote. And in that collaborative environment, you can do anything. Wasn't too long ago, the turn of the 19th to 20th century, that everybody said it was impossible to fly. That was the common notion. It was Icarus. Then all of a sudden, North Carolina, people got together and they decided to solve that problem. But what made that so exceptional wasn't the fact that some people figured out how to build a flying machine. What made that exceptional is that there are people who were alive at that moment, who also were alive less than 70 years later, watching on television mankind set foot on the moon. Think about that. That's a truly remarkable thing, to go from, in one human lifetime, first in flight to stepping on the moon. The only difference between those two events was the ability to collaborate. In the case of taking to the sky, it was a few people. In the case of going to the moon, it was 1 million for the Apollo program. Today, with what we have constructed and what we shall construct, we will be able to coordinate and collaborate on a scale 100 times to 1,000 times greater than the people who took us to the moon. Think about that. Think about the change that can create. Cardano alone already has more people than every person in the Apollo program, and they took a nation to the moon. That's your legacy. That's what you have constructed here. That's what you've put together here. We are truly the stewards of the future. So, there are many challenges, but right now we get to enjoy this moment together. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for it. I never thought something like this was possible. You restored my faith in everything that a man can ever have faith in. You made me a true believer in the power of we, in us, the power of humanity. We're good. So many people want to label us as intrinsically bad and evil and deceptive. But deep down inside, I believe that we're good and we want to do good. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, sometimes it doesn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out. But did any of you give up through this process? And if such a diverse group of people from so many different places didn't give up, kept pushing forward and got this done, why can't this be a symbol for the rest of the world that we can keep moving forward? We can keep doing this. So take that to heart and enjoy this moment. You earned it more than anyone else. And know that it will, for the rest of my life, be so deeply appreciated and so deeply respected. I don't know how I'll ever be able to top this. That's another reason why there's some tears. It's a bittersweet thing to be here. But it's the honor of my lifetime. And it's an amazing thing to pass the baton to all of you. Thank you.